Sorry, I had to go back and get my journal. And so I started writing in a journal every single night. And what I started to do is to write down 5 things every day that I was grateful for. And I had heard in all my motivational speaking listening, I noticed a lot of people had a gratitude journal. And so I wanted to start at that because I felt like at that time that I had nothing to be grateful for, that I was completely miserable, that I had nothing going for me, that my life was over. And so I started a gratitude journal. But I want you to see something, because I didn't go out and purchase anything. I just went and used some things that I had already in my home. And take a look at this. Butterflies on my journal. That was another reminder. I'm like, God, what are you doing? It's like everywhere I turned, I was seeing the butterflies. And I was seeing them so much that in my journal entries, I began to say, Lord, thank you today for the butterfly reminders. But this is my gratitude journal. I'm writing down 5 things every day that I'm grateful for. I didn't write about how depressed I was. I didn't write about all the things that are going wrong. I didn't write about the fact that I thought my life was over, that I was ugly and unattractive, that nobody wants me, that nobody loves me. All those things that I started to believe, that the enemy was whispering in my ear. But I was writing about things that I was grateful for that I tended to overlook. So many things. And I've written some of the saddest days of my life. I was able to go in here and write about some things that I was grateful for. I'm going to go ahead and just read you just a random one. Just a random one. I want to get a good one, without giving too much information, on this video for you guys. But this is one. I wrote this on December the 2nd, 2022. And I said, Lord, thank you for allowing me to see the sunrise and the sunset. I'm grateful. Number 2, God, thank you for your grace and your mercy towards me. Number 3, thank you that regardless of my symptoms, I am healed. I am whole. I am healthy. And I am strong. Number 4, thank you for healing. Number 5, thank you for your faithfulness. Number 6, because this day I felt extra grateful. So I did more than 5. Thank you that you never fail. Thank you. Number 7, thank you for a beautiful future and the signs of the butterfly that you continue to show me. And number 8, thank you that I don't have the spirit of fear, but love and power and a sound mind. In Jesus' name, amen. And so what I do every single night when I go to bed is I grab my journal to reflect on my day. And I thank God for 5 things, at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. This has been a life changer. And as I go back and read some of these things somewhere, knowing that some of these days I wrote in this book where I was completely out of it. But I was grateful for everything that I wrote about in here, whether it's my children, whether it's my grandchildren, whether it was just food for that day, whether it's some lady that I passed in the store that said something really nice to me. Then I would put it in this journal book, and then I begin to realize how blessed I am. Because sometimes we believe the lies of the devil, But if we just take the time to just think about the things that God has done for us, we'll begin to realize, oh my God, that's what blessed is all about right there. And I am super blessed. Okay, check this out. And so I began to realize that I needed help. Okay, I needed help. And I didn't feel like that I could go to anybody. But again, God kept sending me people, again, to let me know that everything is under control. I got this. You're going through a process, but God is working on something great. Oh my God, that kept me going. You have no idea. And worship and praise, that kept me going. Oh my God. That's where my strength came from. But I started having all these symptoms in my physical body. Again, the palpitations. I felt like I was going numb on one side, my whole left side. I felt like that I was like having a stroke or something. Again, the palpitations, just all the tingling and the headaches. I was dizzy. I was having all of these symptoms because I tell y'all that it was such a dark place. My physical body went through a lot. And I didn't realize it at the time that your mental health greatly affects your physical health. So that's why I want you guys to, some of the symptoms that you're having is because of all the stress and the anxiety and everything that you're going through. And it's time for you to reach out to somebody. It's time for you to get some help. It's time. So anyway, I was having all of those issues. And so I ended up going to the emergency room because I didn't know if I was having a stroke or what was going on. I've been having these symptoms for a while, but at this particular day, it got even worse, made me dizzy. And in fact, I had went to my brother's house and I was talking to him and trying to laugh and pretend everything was okay. But even he recognized, he told me later that something was wrong with me. So I left there and I went to the emergency room. And of course, they did all these tests. I was shaking and scared, anxiety, everything. But they did all these tests on me. They did a CAT scan on my brain. And they did a lot of tests and a lot of blood work. And everything came back fine. Everything was normal. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm having these symptoms. But everything was fine. And so I decided to go to see a therapist. And I contacted this therapist. And I wanted to go to a therapist that was the same color as me. But also the most important thing I wanted was one that was Christian, because I didn't want to go to a therapist. There's a lot of therapists out there and they're great, but I particularly wanted somebody that was also Christian based. So that's what I was looking for. So I went to, I think it's therapyforblackgirls.com, and I was able to find a therapist that was in my area. And what's so funny about that is I made the appointment with the therapist. And she ended up having to call me one day before my appointment. And she called me herself. She called me directly. And she was telling me that, okay, I need to reschedule the appointment because of whatever. And then I was like, okay, no problem. I think she had COVID. Yeah, she had COVID. So she had to reschedule the appointment because I wanted to see face to face. I don't want no virtual appointment. I wanted to be face to face. And so what was so funny about it is that when she called me, I thought, I don't like how she sounds. She sounds too nice, and I don't want to deal with nobody that's too nice. You know, that was my thinking. But so I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. And I even told my kids I got an appointment, but I'm not sure how this is going to go because I don't know if the therapist, if we're going to be a good fit. because I don't think she's going to be hard enough on me, which is weird anyway. But that was my honest to goodness thought. And so anyway, so I ended up going to the therapy office. Really, I was thinking that it was not going to be a good fit for me. But I went down to the therapy office. And so I went into the door in the waiting room. And as soon as I went in, I was like, oh my God, this feels so soothing. Just to walk into the place, it felt so soothing. And so I just sat in the little waiting room, kind of nervous and kind of looking around. And nobody was out there because the therapists actually come out and get you from their little office. So I sat in there, but they had music playing and everything. And then I just started looking around, and I looked to the wall. And what did I see? I saw butterflies. Oh God, thank you. You're so faithful to me. I saw butterflies on a picture all over her wall. And it was a sign that basically saying that you're heard, that you're important, that you matter, just all these things like that. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? This must be the place I'm supposed to be in, right? And then I went on, she came out, introduced herself, and we went back into her office. And I sat down, and she was very nice, very, very nice. And so we began to talk, and I began to share. And just from the beginning of the conversation, I knew that I was in the right place. God had already confirmed it. And then as I looked around in her office, what did I see? I saw there she had some type of little suitcase looking thing, and it had butterflies all over it. And finally I said to her, I said, God has just been showing me butterflies. You know, he's constantly showing me butterflies. And she began to tell me, yeah, that's metamorphosis, a transformation. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling that he's been telling me. And I knew that I was in the right place. And so after we had our session, on our way out, she told me about they have a prayer room there. What? They had a prayer room there. So on our way out, after the appointment, she showed me the prayer room. And before she said, you think that's something about those butterflies there? She wanted to show me the prayer room. So I went into their prayer room. Butterflies on every wall. Do y'all see what I'm saying? This was my faithful God reminding me that there's going to be beauty. I'm going through an ugly stage right now, but it's working out something in me that's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And so after I left that place, I found I had so much hope. I had so much hope because I felt like I was in line with what God was trying to do. And then I heard a story about a butterfly, and it was about a butterfly that was in the cocoon, right? So you got this well, it's not a butterfly at that point, but he's in the cocoon. And he's he's moving around in the cocoon. And then a human being comes by and sees that it's struggling. And so it wants to help them, help them escape. And so they went in and just started ripping a little thing so it could escape. And it came out and it was beautiful, but it couldn't fly. Right? So it looked good, but it couldn't fly, because it had intervention that prevented it from going through the process that it needed to go through to be beautiful, to be strong, to be able to fly, to able to fulfill its own destiny, its own purpose. So sometimes we have to stay inside of that cocoon and go through that process. And that's what I feel like I've been in. And you might feel like that's where you are too, that you're in a process that you have to go through, but something is great. Something great is happening to you that you don't even realize what that is right now. But there's going to be a time that's going to come when you go through that struggle. Because in that struggle, that's what's making you strong. That's what's helping to develop those wings to make you able to fly. You know, it's in that struggle that's helping to create that beauty. And then when that thing naturally breaks, then you're going to be able to soar. And that's exactly what this butterfly has represented for me. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. So I'm going to stop right here because I don't want these videos to be too long. And then we're going to come back with part 3. Come back. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.